While taking care of your physical health is absolutely a huge priority, equally as important is taking care of your mental health. Having your mental health in check is extremely important, especially with these polarizing times in our world. We especially need to normalize taking care of mental health in the world of music. For many years, we've heard the tragic stories of musicians and others in that space who have succumbed to mental health challenges when they otherwise felt there was nowhere else to turn. For more information and how to support this cause, visit Live Beyond on Instagram at live.beyond27 or on Facebook at Beyond27. Thank you for your support.
The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throb in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earnestly Podcast. It is once again EJ versus Degenerate. Of course, recording this on Tuesday night, January 13th, 2026. Again, with America's Fifth Degenerate. And of course, Zachary. Zach, what's going on, brother?
No, man, not much, man. Trying a new diet. Well, like an old diet. Yeah.
What are you doing exactly?
Back to keto for like a month or two.
Okay.
Belly was getting a little round.
Well, it was the holidays, to be fair. It's the holidays.
Man.
What was the holidays?
I had dropped away from the last holidays.
I brother, listen, I feel your pain, brother. Trust me. It wasn't too bad with the holidays, but I think I told you Christmas Day was my worst. Probably the most I've eaten in one day in about 5 years. So it was a touch and go for a little while, but gotta get back in the horn again. Anyway, you won last week, wildcard weekend. I only had one pick right. You had 3. So congratulations to you, Zach.
Thank you.
And we'll get to, obviously, our power rankings. We're going to rank the top 8 teams that's left in the playoffs, as well as our best bets for divisional weekend. It's going to be an interesting weekend of that. And, of course, we'll also preview the national title game between Indiana and Miami. But first, we had some breaking news earlier in the show, earlier today. Now, I did talk about this I recorded a solo podcast earlier this afternoon. So I want to get your thoughts now. Mike Tomlin leaves. He basically quit. He said, I'm done. I stepped down as the Steelers head coach. I already spoke my piece about this, about Tomlin and his future and his legacy in Pittsburgh and whatnot and the fans. What's your thoughts on this?
I think once he heard the fans of Pittsburgh chanting "Fire Tomlin," he was done with the organization and done with the city. I think he tried to take as much of a high road as he could without, specifying issues. So that was great. But I don't know. He was certainly not a top 5 coach. He might have been top 10 just because of all the turnover. But
you mean this year or just in this throughout the last?
Throughout the last 19 years.
Okay.
I don't believe there was ever a time in his 19 years he was a top 5 coach.
I mean, you have to really look through the context and look at the league at a certain year. I can argue maybe top 5 for maybe a year or two. Certainly top 10, though. Yeah.
Yeah, barely top 10, though. Like, when you go 10 years without a playoff victory, that should say just as much as anything else on your resume.
But can I argue, though? And I'm not saying you're wrong. And again, I've defended Steelers fans to some degree, saying that some of their gripes are valid. That especially with Pittsburgh, there is a certain expectation where a franchise has won a lot of Super Bowls, 6 Super Bowls to be exact. There's a standard set. Chuck Noll said it. Bill Cowher, some degree, said it as well too. And Mike Tomlin also had a standard for at least for his first 10 years there. Could it be argued that any other coach, not named Mike Tomlin, and I'm speaking mostly on the last maybe 5 years, post Big Ben, that with that roster they had and the quarterbacks, or lack of quarterbacks in my opinion, that they had, post Big Ben, that they're not even 500 with that roster. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I would disagree.
Why is that?
That defense. You had a defensive player of the year and a guy who was, when he wasn't winning the actual award, was a top 3 candidate almost every single season.
I mean, TJ Watt, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they had an all-pro safety. They traded an all-pro safety for an all-pro corner. So they have had Pro Bowlers along the line, along the linebackers, and along the back end, the DBs, all for at least the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
They almost always had a legitimate offensive line. So I'm glad he made it 19 years, but again,
I do think
sometimes he was just playing in a division that was very weak.
Well, this year's
and a conference, yeah.
Well, this year's division was weak. I mean, I think most people agree that the AFC North has been the standard division of the last 15 years, year to year. I mean, mainly because of Pittsburgh and Baltimore and what they've been doing. And you get a once in a blue moon Cincinnati Bucks in there. Cleveland hardly ever makes it a case, but I do think there's this argument to be made that things get stale. Things they get stale a little bit, and that's why Steve fans got a little antsy. But they're never going to fire him though. I always said that if this relationship was ever going to end, it was going to end on a mutual ending, or Mike Tomlin saying, "I'm good, I'll leave," and we have that play out because you're never going to fire a guy that has never gone on 500 in his 19 years there. Not even Bill Belichick can say that. So I mean, there is something to be said about that. And again, it's weird because I said it on the pod earlier. I think there's a thing now called Steeler privilege, where fans are so used to winning that 10-7 is not satisfactory anymore. And I'm not saying it should be satisfactory, but you think Cleveland Browns fans are trying to hear that shit right now? You think New York Jets fans are trying to hear that shit right now? Like, y'all guys are at least competing, getting to the playoffs. The Jets haven't been in the playoffs in 14 years. 15 years, well, 14 years, whatever it is. 15 years, actually, 2011. So there are teams that will take your spot in a heartbeat. And now to boot, okay, Tomlin leaves. Cool. You're happy. I get it. There's no guarantee that next coach comes in there and have the same success. And you can't, you don't get to bitch now in 3 or 4 years when you're 4-13, 5-12, 3-14 for the next 3-4 years. You don't get to bitch. You cannot have both ways. Because you had a guy that was at least getting you in position to go to playoffs every year. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at it from a glass half full or whatever, but I think the fans are a little bit spoiled there too.
Oh, that I'll agree with. But I don't think the fans should have had expectations. Legitimately, you won 2 rings in my entire lifetime, right?
The Steelers, you mean?
Yeah, the Steelers, excuse me. They won one at the very tail end of Bill Cowher's career and one at the very start of Mike Tomlin's career.
Yeah.
When Ben Roethlisberger was one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the word is now he'll probably take a break this year. Although he can get any job he wants to. If he decides to take interviews, he'll get any job. Because it's still a marquee name. You don't think the Giants take him in a heartbeat? Come on now. Him and John Harbaugh are the 2 biggest names right now on the market. If Tom decides to go somewhere else, which I don't think, from what we're hearing, is going to take a year off probably, do TV.
Yeah, with Tomlin, I don't know if he gets a head coaching job, especially not where he wants to go. Because if you're trying to go to a winning organization, or at least a team set up with the quarterback and talent on the roster, the Steelers are going to ask for probably a second or a third round draft pick.
Yeah, they still have own their rights technically. He wasn't
Yeah.
fired, so they have own his rights actually. Yeah. So there's something to be said about that. So, well, we'll see how it plays out, man. Like I said, the coaching carousel has gotten even crazier now. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's get to power rankings. We are now down to 8 teams left in the playoffs, divisional weekend. Zachary, who is your 8th best team left in the playoffs?
It's the 49ers. Literally, they lost Kittle's first quarter of the game. Their only weapons now is CMC and maybe Jawan Jennings, but everything has to be smoke and mirrors with that team.
Yeah, I almost did it for the same reason, though. But I went Chicago once again. I know you're gonna say I'm disrespecting Chicago, and Caleb Williams. We'll talk about him, in a second. But again, I mean, how does Green Bay do it again? And it's funny, they just played like literally like 3 weeks ago, almost similar circumstance, down two possessions in the fourth quarter, and then blown the lead. It makes no sense. You did text me the other day and said that and I we'll probably do a topic on this probably next week or the week after about Caleb Williams. Like I tweeted this the other day and you agreed with me too. You said that I said that basically performance like that against Green Bay, in a playoff game is probably going to be why when we do all these not just us but any other publication out there, or why you're going to see Caleb Williams on a lot of top 10 lists next season. Because of this. Because this is things that the greats do. As sloppy as may be and unorthodox he may be, he wins. And he's finding ways to win games. 7 or 8 come back from behind wins this year alone?
Yeah.
That's him. That's him. So now we're seeing what the hype was about in the first place with him being the number 1 pick in the draft. So, but again, you can't rely on that against these teams going forward, against the Rams, against eventually the Seahawks, or even the Niners they cross by. That's why Chicago number 8 on my list. 7 for you got, buddy.
I have the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. Josh Allen only.
Yes. I like that. And again, it was Josh Allen a bust on Sunday against Jacksonville. I'm with you. 7 for me is the Niners. Again, to me, 7 to 8 can be interchangeable. I'll be okay with that. And it's really because of the bodies. It's because no more bodies. George Kittle's out now for the year and probably all next year. Who knows? His career's over. You know what I'm saying? There's a real case that take out Andy Reid, that Kyle Shanahan's the best coach of football. There's a real case for that. There's number 1 in the league. Minus Andy Reid. Now you can say Sean McVay, maybe, and I'm with you on McVay being in the conversation too. But what Kyle Shanahan's done this year with this roster, Purdy's missing half the year, no Fred Warner, injuries galore, and somehow they have 12 wins. That's insane. And then you go win in Philadelphia and see on top of that, get banged up during the game against a healthy Eagles team for the record. Eagles were banged up. Eagles are healthy, and they still find a way to win the game. That's coaching. That's amazing coaching there. He schemed up the fucking team and did a great job. This dude's incredible. I mean, it's a shame he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, but he's fucking incredible. So 7 for me is the Niners for that alone. Number 6, you got?
I have the Pats. Mm-hmm. Man, did they struggle for 3 quarters of that game. All right. Drake May did not look like the MVP candidate that everyone's been hyping. And when I look at the overall AFC picture, the other 2 AFC teams, I feel like are more complete. I trust their defenses.
I do think, though, and we'll get to that in a second, that was more about how good the Chargers are outside the offensive line. What did I tell you on the show last week? If I picked the Pats to win the game, but the reason why I picked the Pats to win the game is not because I think they're better than the Chargers. It's because I think that the Chargers are not healthy. The line has stunk for fucking weeks now. That's why. if these teams are even, you might get a different result in Foxborough. So I do feel you on the pass thing, though. Like maybe there's some smoke and there's some degree. We'll see. 6 for me is the Bills. Josh Allen. And I'll tell you where that game changed actually. And I think I texted you during the game. That fourth down call that the Jaguars converted, and then they reviewed it, virtual review, and they overturned it. If they get that first down, they're likely to score a touchdown there, go up 14-3. And that's probably a different game. The momentum changed that game. The momentum probably stays on Jacksonville's side the rest of the way. Because they still play pretty decent, all considering.
Absolutely.
But 14-3 is a little bit different from down 7-3, getting the ball back, and they go down the field and score. Then the game changes now. Now it's a nip and tuck game. So the Bills have to rely on Josh Allen heavily. I'm not saying you should rely on Josh Allen, but he needs help. And as deeper. Now, the good thing with the Bills that they're in the AFC. These teams all have flaws. So it's not like Josh Allen couldn't beat these teams, but it's going to get harder. There's certainly not going to be any NFC teams playing that way. So, but outside Chicago anyway. Bills number 6 for me. All right, 5. What do you got?
At number 5, I flipped this one late.
Okay.
All right. But it's only because of this week and the fact they're missing their top wideout. I put the Texans down.
Okay.
All right. For 3 quarters, they were struggling on offense. CJ Stroud couldn't move the ball. Mm-hmm. So then you light it up. Your defense makes some big plays against old man Rodgers and the Steelers. So that's where I am on that. But man, that pass rush is insane.
It's borderline generational. Because if the Texans obviously is going to be this bad, and yet they still win a game in Pittsburgh by that many points, that's fucking scary. So, 5 for me is the Broncos. Again, I have to see a full Bo Nix game. And look, maybe Sean Payton's holding his best stuff behind it now. Maybe he's holding his best cards until now. But you see a quarter here of Drake May, a moment here, and maybe 1 or 2 games every 2 months. But he will be the reason why the Broncos go to the Super Bowl or not. Not the defense, because the defense is great. But Bo Nix can lose him a game very, very, very fast also, too. And again, you're not big on Bo Nix, as you've been saying for all year long.
No.
I like Bo Nix. But I got to see more, bro. I got to see more.
Yeah.
So, so for now, number 5 for me. All right, 4, you got?
At number 4 for me, It's the miracle team. It's the team that never dies. It's the Chicago Bears. They find ways to win. They know how to get turnovers, and turnovers are the key to any playoff game. Mm-hmm. So, give me the Bears.
What do you think about the Ben Johnson, Matt LaFleur, handshake bullshit? I love it. I think it's great.
Man, I think it's stupid and it's nonsense. I don't even know why they talk about it.
In other words, it doesn't bother you?
No. I don't even understand why it's being made as a big deal. I'm shocked the coaches even go to handshake, because I've watched one of the greatest of all time at head coach and Bill Belichick not even shake hands with some of the opponents' coaches.
He didn't. He did in the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah. So
now granted, I give him a pass there because it was against the Giants. It was against Tom Coughlin, who was already friends with anyway, so we knew they were friends anyway. He was just very frustrated about the situation. 18-0 going down, so I get that. But it's fun. As someone who, while I understand Bears Packers is a massive deal, it's the longest rivalry in NFL history, I'm not invested because I'm not a fan of these teams, so I don't care.
Absolutely,
I've never cared about that rivalry until now. Now I care because this shit's kind of cool. I like the soap opera of this shit between the coaches. Caleb Williams, the Packers have owned that team for fucking decades now, and all of a sudden Chicago finally had a year where they actually beat them twice, and when it mattered. So that's fun.
And see, for me, I don't even see it as the rivalry. To me, it was the Bears-Lions during the regular season, so that was more of a rivalry to me.
4 for me is the Patriots. Again, I totally understand your apprehension. Drake May didn't have a great game, but he did. He found ways. He found ways to win. He rushed the ball pretty well too. Like he had 60 yards in rushing in that game.
Yeah.
And he made throws we need to. I think this team's really very scary. Again, they haven't played anybody. They haven't played anybody yet. And
No, and
go ahead.
even going against the Chargers, who you love, you're going against a worthless offensive line and a banged up quarterback.
Yeah, and it was pathetic. Watching it, I'm watching the game on Sunday night. And I'm like, I feel terrible for Herbert. I felt terrible, legitimately terrible for the guy. He's getting banged up every play, can't throw the ball, and there's no one's open. It's horrible.
And you talk about a team who lost complete momentum and hope. I think it was the Chargers, man. Back-to-back drives, you're down inside the 5 at the 2-yard line, and you can't get a touchdown. I think that sealed their fate right then and there.
Yeah, totally with you. All right, number 3, I think now. Yeah, 3. What do you got?
At number 3, it's the last team in the AFC. It's the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
That, to me, is the scariest defense there is in football.
Yeah. Certainly, I would say after Houston and maybe Seattle, them and Seattle neck and neck. Definitely top 3 in the league, in my opinion. But again, they need both to step up, man. That's where we'll separate them from the rest of the pack. But great defense, yes, absolutely. 3 for me is the Rams. What a scare, huh? I told you by plus 10.5 looked good. I picked the Rams on the show. I picked the Rams initially to cover, but we recorded that show Monday last week, really early in the week. Then I saw the weather report, number 1, and I'm thinking, let's sit down a second here. I don't give a fuck whether 8 and 9 or not. I don't like any home team getting plus 10.5 points. I don't like that. It didn't feel good. So I actually bet Carolina the points on this one. So, and they almost won the damn game.
Yeah. So, if Bryce Young could play the Rams 17 weeks a year, he'd be an all-pro.
Right?
Like, those are his best games of the year, were both games against the Rams, in my opinion.
I mean, it's a hell of a team to do it against, though. Well, I will say that. But if I'm not mistaken, too, Bryce Young is up for a new deal soon, isn't he?
Well, they have to decide whether or not to pick up his 5th-year option.
I don't think he's anything. Well, in my opinion, I don't think it's anything to warrant a big extension. In my opinion, like he's had.
Well, that's why you would do the 5th-year 5th-year option.
You have the one really bad rookie year. You had year 2 where he got benched after week 2. Okay, came back because they needed a quarterback. He played better than the year last year. Then this year he was okay. They got to the playoffs, obviously, but he was okay. It's not special. Like you and I have been doing this all year long. Like we don't know how good this kid is.
Look, he had 4 games all season of over 200 yards passing. That's it. During the regular season, he had 4 games.
He's not a top 20 quarterback in the league. He's not top 20. He's not.
No.
Not even close. He's just not. He doesn't pass the eye test, bro. Sorry, he does not. So they have to pick up his option, I guess, and ride us out another year. I will say that to his credit, though, he has a good receiving core, though.
Yeah.
To build.
He has a really good receiving core.
Yeah, so there's no excuse next year. He has if I'm not mistaken, they have the most expensive offensive line in the league, also in Carolina. So they're investing to make him good, to give him the opportunity to flourish. To his credit, he did in moments this year, but you got to see more. He's not worth $30 million a year or $24 million a year. He's not. So you got to see more. But this is what year 4 is for, I guess, right? So, All right, number 2, who do you got? Wait.
At number 2. Yeah, that was number 3. Now we're on 2. Yeah, that was 3. Yeah. Wait.
I said Rams.
Yeah, the Rams.
Yeah. By the way, before we go to number 2 real quick, I don't know what I told you last week on the show about MVP. Did I tell you Drake May last week? Or McCaffrey?
No, I don't think you did, actually. I don't think we talked about it.
Okay, well, I changed my mind. It's Stafford.
Yeah.
It's Stafford. It's
Yeah.
Stafford.
I love how all these people, most people in media, will trash a guy for one bad game at the end of the season, but a guy who loses to the worst team in all of football at the start of the season, that's okay. And then plays one winning team all season long, they're going to make the MVP.
Did I say correct the mistake, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay, then. What the fuck you talking about?
Well, you didn't tell me about last week, so now I got to,
No. So what happened? I actually had McCaffrey's MVP at one point. What happened? Why I went Stafford? I explained in the podcast today because I did the awards. Why I changed was because doing more. First of all, I feel weird giving a 5 seed wild card a MVP. It's just weird to me. That's why. But
I don't care.
Using context. But you're right. But using context, for example, number one, his numbers are better. Not much better, but better than Drake May. Number two, he has had by far way more resistance to face than Drake May has. Okay,
Absolutely.
He played this year in by far the best division in football. Somebody even say this might be a historically great defense, historically great division by virtue of the fact that the number 1 seed 14-3 in there. There's another 12-5 team in there, and they're 12-5. And so he plays those teams twice a year. Okay, played the Eagles this year too. On top of that, he's had a harder schedule by far than the past.
Oh yeah.
So that counts. It has to count something. And honestly, I would put McCaffrey number 2 before I put Drake May number 2 because McCaffrey had to deal with the same reason Stafford gets it for the division thing, of course, but also dealing with those injuries in the team.
Yeah.
Get to carry
Both quarterbacks are out. Offensive line is missing pieces. The defense.
Right. Yeah. Like, there's a real case McCaffrey should have gotten over Stafford, honestly, in my opinion, based on my pick. But I went Stafford because the numbers just were amazing this year. Anyway, number 2, who you got? You get
At number 2? Yeah, man. Freaking can't stop this runny nose for the life of me.
Oh, God.
So at number 2, I have your MVP, Matthew Stafford.
All right.
I would have had him at number 1, but good God, that defense, their defense scares me. If you can give up that many yards and that many big plays to Carolina, I got to worry about it.
Well, of course you got to worry about it. But I also think a lot of it with Carolina is it's a matchup issue. Certain teams, no matter the record, just have a weird matchup where they can match up well with you. And for some reason, Carolina matches up pretty well with the Rams. They beat them this year once already. Almost beat them again in the playoffs. It's weird. It happens. I get it. But again, number 9 found a way to win the game for them. 2 for me is the Texans. Now, I say that with the thought in my head that Nico Collins could miss the game against the Patriots.
Most likely.
Which is huge. Well, number 1's a short week too on top of that. So we're against them. And if we're missing the game, then they're fucked. They're fucked. Because if the offense is that bad against Pittsburgh, you can't do that shit against New England and Foxborough. So
no.
But that defense is special. That defense can carry them to the Super Bowl because there's no runaways in the AFC again. We just mentioned it earlier. The Pats are a good team, but they're not by any means they're not. This is not the Tom Brady Pats. This is not Gronk and guys. They're very beatable. So I saw Houston, even with Nico out, if he misses the game, can still win the game, but be a whole lot tougher though. But that defense is special, and you got to give him credit there. So 2 for me is the Texans. All right, number 1. I think that's number 1, right? Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle.
Yeah.
So I know we were talking about MVP candidates. How is JSN not an MVP candidate? There are no other wide receivers to throw to. Their run game is crap. And no one gives any respect to Sam Darnold. So how is he not an MVP candidate?
Well, he was my offensive player of the year, to be fair.
So he's your offensive player of the year, but you would still put CMC ahead of him.
No, I'm not. No, I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying there. And I think we're getting to the point now where the MVP And look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I say this as someone who wants someone else to win it, not name a quarterback, but at the same time, I'm also rewarding quarterback this year too. So I'm a fucking hypocrite, I guess, right? But we have to acknowledge that this is really a quarterback award. So why don't you just fucking name it the quarterback award? You know what I'm saying?
Well, if we do that, then why isn't Sam Darnold getting some love?
Right. Well, Sam Darnold deserves some love, but Sam Darnold also has games where he's had games this year where he's thrown 5 picks in the game and almost won the game. So I mean, I don't know, but Seattle's scary, and I think because they have home field advantage, it makes it very plausible they'll run the table to the Super Bowl because that's the edge they need. Home field advantage is the big edge. So Seattle number 1 for me. All right, let's get to our best bets. We got 4 games, of course. Here we go. We got Saturday game, 4:30. We got Bills at Broncos, Zach. The Broncos are 1-point favorites. The over-under is 47. What do you got?
Oh, I got the Broncos at home. Did you see what happened to Josh Allen? He got the living snot beat out of him last week. And now he's going to come into Mile High Stadium, probably in freezing temperatures. Yeah, I know it's cold. It gets just as cold up in Buffalo, but being a mile high up, I'm sorry. This is Denver's game written all over it.
I feel you, man. I feel you, but for some reason, Denver should win this game. They're at home. It'll be a short week for Buffalo, technically, by day. But God, I don't trust Denver. Give me Buffalo in this game. I think you'll get one more Josh Allen game out this week, and then after that, it's all in the air. After that, I just trust Josh Allen more than I trust anybody in the Broncos. And look, here's the deal: the Broncos can very well here win a blowout. I think if this game's close, if this game's close, the Bills win. Denver wins a blowout. If Denver wins, it would be in a blowout. I think it's more likely to be a close game. So I'll take Josh Allen and the Bills on this one. All right, next game here we have Niners at Seahawks. That's the 8 o'clock game on Saturday. The Seahawks are 7.5-point favorites. The over-under, Zach, is 46.
Man, 7.5. Give me the under, okay? I don't think Seattle's gonna blow the doors off them, but I don't know how many points San Fran's gonna be able to put up.
You have the under?
Yeah, I'm taking the under.
So am I. I am as well. Last time they met 2 weeks ago, it was 13-6, I think it was. The final score, 13-3. I see something not that low, but San Francisco bodies, man. And Seattle's not going to score a lot, I think, in this game. But they're not going to need to because the defense is that damn good. They'll carry him. I see it being like a 20 to 13 game, I see. Something like that. Something in that area. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that half a point screws you, so.
Yeah, so I'm not fucking a half point either. So I'll take the under as well. All right, Sunday, 3 o'clock. You got Texans at Patriots. The Pats are 3-point favorites. The over-under, Zach, is 41.
Oh, this is another under for me. All right. Drake May, you struggled for 3 quarters last week. You're going to struggle all game long against the Texans. But I don't know what the Texans are going to do on offense against that defense. So
I am actually going to go over on this one. It's low enough. Now, here's the thing. If they rule Nico out in this game, is Nico worth a point?
See, so this is one of those things I don't understand. How star players who you would literally bet on, he would be the number 1 choice for anytime touchdown on the Texans, right? How is he not worth at least 3, if not 6? You know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, your backup wide receiver is not going to be minus 135 for an anytime touchdown like Nico Collins would be.
All right. So
I think it's significant.
That's a massive injury here. Well, concussion, obviously. We'll see how that plays out. If he plays, I'm very confident in the Pats in the Texans win this game. I'm going to Super Bowl, so but I'm going to go over this one. All right, and finally, last game, 6:30. The game we'll be getting together too. Me, you, my brother, everybody else. Rams at Bears. The Rams are 4-point favorites. The over/under, Zach, 50.5. So the road team is a 4-point favorite.
Look, I mean, last week they were a 10.5 point favorite on the road. So it literally took a meltdown by Green Bay's kicker and the team in general for Chicago to be in this round right now.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I think the safe bet is the over.
So it is. Me too. Over as well. It's less about me trusting Chicago all of a sudden now because I don't trust them. But I'm not going to sit there and bet against them now and say the Rams will cover 4 points. Fuck that. I'm not doing that crap because the Rams almost lost to Carolina last week. You know what I'm saying? So, and they're far worse team than Chicago is. You know what I mean? So, anything's possible at this point now. You know, it's a 1-game set, man. It's not like you play a 7-game series here. It's a 1 game and done. So, anything can happen here. So, I'm taking the over as well too. So, there's our best bets for divisional weekend coming up this week. It should be a fun weekend. If we get you out of here, one more thing. Of course, we'll be talking on the podcast again until next week, and by then we'll be at the close of the college football season. It is Miami and Indiana for the national title down here at the Orange Bowl. I believe the spread is still 7 points for the game, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure, because it opened at 4.
Oh, good. I thought it was like 8.5. So
No,
that's good.
No, it went up now. No. So open it at 4.5. Open at 4.5. Now it's at 8.5. Now was it 7? It was at 7 actually on Friday or Saturday morning rather, and then moved another 1.5. I'm tempted to take Miami to points here. To be honest with you.
You do that because I'm going to take Indiana, and I would bet the alt lines. Indiana's going to win by at least 2 touchdowns, if not 3. They are going to beat the F out of them.
And I know that the game's being played down here, but I don't think there'll be a significant home field advantage here because these kind of games, you draw a lot of outsiders. There'll be a lot of Indiana fans who've never been here before who are going to want to go to the game, obviously. And you know Miami fans who are either season ticket holders or have tickets to the game, they're going to get people want to buy tickets from them for a lot of fucking money. And it's too tempting to not. Let me guess, your allegiance to the team versus I can make $4,000 right now for 1 ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be a sea of red.
I think that crowd is going to be much more close to 50-50 than people give credit for, honestly.
I would say it's going to be 75-25 Indiana fans. Like, I think they're just going to dominate.
Miami fans don't show up to games as is, whether they're good or not. And that's not a knock on Miami fans because obviously the location of the stadium doesn't help, but they're not as invested. I mean, obviously they're excited about the team now, but it's not the same as it was back in the fucking 80s, bro.
What are you, 30 minutes from being what? Miami Beach from the stadium? 30 minutes? Really? It's too far for them to go. Come on. No, they just don't.
They don't care as much as you think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of fans too also are living off the nostalgia and all this stuff, and yeah, whatever. I told y'all the winner of Ohio State, Indiana team. I think watching against Oregon last week, it hit me like, yo, these fucking guys ain't playing around. Like I thought, okay, you beat Ohio State fine for Big Ten championship, fine. You beat Bama. And impressive, obviously, but was that more about Bama being this bad this year or about Indiana really being that good? It really didn't really hit me until literally last Friday. Like, oh, damn, this boys are good. First play of the game, we picked 6.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing? So, yeah, I'm a believer in Indiana. And I think as much as I said that Indiana and Miami and Ohio State winner, I may have to rescind that. I might say Miami in the points, though. Just because I think it should be Miami could be a little closer, but I think Indiana wins the game regardless. They're just a better team, in my opinion. So this is a 2-year build. So
better quarterback, far better quarterback, and I think they have the better offensive line.
And if the line's better than no shot. Miami's strength is getting to the quarterback, and they can't get the quarterback, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So there it is. So there it is. That is this week's edition of Eat the Degenerate. Zach, I will see you Sunday night.
Yes, sir. Be my first day of having any kind of soda and liquor. So look out.
Oh, really? So you're gonna?
I'm being.
Stop kidding.
That's my cheat day. That is my Sunday is my cheat day. So all week it's super clean, super healthy, keto, low cal.
I'm so proud of you, buddy. Give me a big hug when I see you. Oh man! All right, brother. We'll talk soon. And we'll figure out where we're gonna go on Sunday. We're gonna watch a game. So, all right.
Sounds good.
All right, brother. Be good.
Later.
All right, later.